Hello campers, Granna here. Did you ever go to a state or county fair or some other carnival and enter a house of mirrors or hall of mirrors? Well, one of the things that you'll notice, or should notice, is that when you first enter this hall of mirrors, you'll be presented with a normal mirror. It will be the first mirror that you see. And there you are, it's just a normal mirror like in your bathroom. And you're presented with your reflection. And you know it's your reflection. So you are not afraid of your own reflection, right? Okay, well now we're going to enter a hall of mirrors. And you also then know that all of these distorted reflections of you that you see in the hall of mirrors aren't real. They're just presentations, or as I should say, representations of your image. Okay? In order to pass through the hall of mirrors without being disturbed or frightened, you have to know who you are. You have to retain your sense of your own self. You have to know that you're actually in control of these images. And this is exactly the situation that you have to maintain in the present atmosphere of illegality that has been established by certain commercial entities, and especially by the Committee of 300, which went rogue in 2005. You're being presented with images in your name, and your name is being used as the focus or the source of the images. All right? Today we're going to delve into something that you need to be aware of, but you need to be aware of it as an image, as one of these images that are being presented. So here's the question: why is a vessel in international commerce required to have a, quote, civilian commission issued by the Secretary of State and Department of State? Department of State appears in all capital letters. Commerce in a non-Hague state requires the multi-step document legalization process involving notarization, certification by the Secretary of State, authentication by the U.S. Department of State, and final legalization by the destination country's embassy or consulate, because the countries involved are not parties to the Hague Apostille Convention. America, the actual states, and the actual people are not members of the Hague Convention. They pre-exist the Hague Convention. They operate in a different jurisdiction than the Hague Convention. So, Joe Average America has to operate as a non-Hague Convention state if they're going to operate in commerce at all. They're a non-Hague entity. Okay. However, if you want to do business with a Hague Convention state in the jurisdiction of the sea, then you're going to need to undertake this entire process. And if then you want to do business again with a non-Hague Convention state or country, you'll need to be operating through this replacement long-form apostille process, which requires notarization, Secretary of State certification, U.S. Department of State authentication, and finally embassy legalization by the foreign country. This is all to establish who you are. which image in the Hall of Mirrors is being presented at any given time, and which auspices are you operating on when you are in that other country, including a state, an actual state, are you using as an identity? Realistically, you have to have both non-Hague and Hague identities. So, I'll place this little explanation, which anyone can get, off the internet just simply by searching the issues. Next, we're going to take a look at the commission and the guarantee bond that's actually issued by the United States of America and the Department of State, which is the municipal corporate entity. Department of State is in all capital letters. And it says, "To all to whom these presents shall come, greetings. I," meaning the Secretary of State or his appointed representative, "certify," capital C, "that the document hereunto annexed is under the seal of the states of Wisconsin, and that such seals are entitled to full faith and credit." They're talking about multiple seals of multiple states. They're all operating as states of Wisconsin in this case. Then we have, "In testimony whereof I," in this case John F. Kerry, Secretary of State, "have hereunto caused the seal of the Department of State," upper lower case, the U.S. Department of State, "to be affixed in my name subscribed by the Assistant Authentication Officer of said department at the City of Washington," not the municipality of Washington, "in the District of Columbia, this 26th day of May, 2015. Very well. This is the Secretary of State certification that we learned was necessary as part of this non-Hague Convention apostille process. And down here in the corner of this document, we have a statement issued pursuant to CHXIV, okay, Chapter 14, State of September 15, 1789, okay, Statute 68-69, and then we have a long list of codifications thereof. 22 U.S.C. 2657, 22 U.S.C. 2651A, 5 U.S.C. 301, 28 U.S.C. 1733 et seq, 8 U.S.C. 1443F, and Rule 44 of the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure. Okay? Up here at the top of the document, you will also see a number. That number in this case is 150-364-55-3. This is a commission number, and it's also a bond number for the full faith and credit of the United States of America and the Department of State. Very good. We'll get to exactly what that's talking about in just a moment. But first, I want you to see what is actually here as a backup certification. Here we have a certification issued by the state of Wisconsin, upper lowercase. Okay, this is a United States of America appears in all capitals above this, and it's the office of the Secretary of State in all capital letters. So this is a commercial certificate. And right up here we have a certification seal, which is applied both to this certificate, right, that was issued in this case by Douglas La Follette, Secretary of State, in his commercial office. And we know it's his commercial office because he signed it Douglas La Follette, all capital letters, and then he signed it Secretary of State, upper lower case. So basically this is a certificate that is being issued by the territorial United States of America for the commercial version of United States of America.